terms of market share right now, we're talking about 20% or so of online display impressions, and same thing in video. In mobile, it's trending up, and we'll be here soon. And this is increasing year over year. So what we're going to see, by the time we get to 2015 and 2016, a lot of online ad inventory, and this is across mobile, video, display, is going to be purchased using real-time bidding, where it's no longer a human interaction, where you're calling someone up at a publisher network or getting a rate card from a site, purchasing ad inventory. It's done programmatically using a bidder and using algorithmic optimization. So I'll dive into what some of the benefits of this are on both sides of the picture. You know, there's benefits both on the sell side and on the advertiser side. And one surprise to a lot of brand marketers is now that dollars are actually shifting towards a real-time bidding model for video. So we're seeing actually a little bit more than the display ad market now being purchased using real-time bidding in video. So this means pre-roll ad inventory, and then we're also talking about in-banner video. So some of you, I'm sure, have seen like expandable ad units where you roll over the ad unit and the video pops out. So this is a very big thing, being able to bring data into media buying and then execute an ad buy in an auction. So how did this come to be? Real quick, I know no one likes history lessons. So 2007, this is where it all began. We had the big three start to buy ad exchanges. And these were very big acquisitions. These are the largest players at the time. And the same year, 5 DSPs were founded. So a DSP is basically a demand-side platform. This is a way that you can access this type of ad inventory and bid on. 2009, this started to get really hot. Exchanges started to accept bids. So when I say a bid, that means instead of allowing you to call them up and buy ad inventory, instead, a computer is allowed to bid on their ads. And this is a very dramatic shift in the way the marketplace moved. There's a lot of efficiency when you have basically a bid and an ask price. No longer are the largest brands and the largest agencies able to negotiate on those race cards. It gives the smaller players basically an in to that premium inventory and makes the market a lot more efficient on both sides. At the same time, like sellers that are maybe selling their inventory for a price that's a little bit too high are no longer able to get those high prices. So right now we have still on the marketplace being purchased directly, where people are booking on site lists and they're walking on their rate cards what they want to buy, but we're seeing increasingly more and more people buying the ad inventory through bids. And it really took off in 2009. This is where it blew up. DoubleClick was the largest ad exchange at the time, and still is. And we saw huge, huge growth in that year. So how much is available now? A lot of media buyers are concerned about reach and being able to cover a target market if they're trying to buy for a DMA or zip code. And this just recently has started to trend up to the point where there's enough ad inventory available for real-time bidding to execute any type of media buy. And first prize of the day, $1,000 VISISEEK remarketing campaign. To anyone who can tell me what this number means? It's tied to the slide before in relation to how much ad inventory is available.
How many are purchased?
How many ads are available per day? What do you think the time frame is in this number here?
1 week?
You work for VISISEEK, you can't answer. No?
Every minute.
1 week?
A second. 500,000 ads available a second. So, if anyone said a second quietly, then you're surprised. Previously, this was something that was really big in the U.S. The first acquisitions in this space happened in the U.S., and we saw the most inventory available in the U.S. This definitely grew the most with U.S. ad inventory, but now we're seeing worldwide impressions available. And we're running buys that are in the UK and Europe and Asia now, and they're very fast-growing markets. You're seeing like the growth phase that happened in 2009 and 2010 happen in emerging markets now. On both sides, that's the sell side and the buy side. So what types of ads can you buy using bidding in an auction like this? And for any creatives that are in the room, this is where this really comes into swing and where you can combine this technology with some really sharp creative ideas. So we're able to plug data And when I say data, I mean web analytics data and data about who's been to your website and what they've done with the actual ad unit itself. And this is like a very important point that I want to emphasize because there are a lot of possibilities within this. When you think about an e-commerce site, you have people that are browsing on different products. They're spending different amounts of time on different products. They might go to certain products that are above a marked price point that you feel warrants a certain type of ad campaign, and they're a higher quality customer to you than another type of customer. If you're a service company, there might be almost every service company has lines that are more profitable than others. So you're able to actually target your creative specifically to people that have done certain actions on your site, or if you're a publisher, sell data that represents the most targeted, high-quality visitors, whatever advertiser you're trying to sell to. So I'll give you some really cool examples. Auto manufacturers are jumping on this bandwagon very, very, very aggressively. And I'll show you a couple really cool ads here. So this is showing, you've probably seen this stuff online. If you go to visit the BMW website, you go to look at an X5, you go and you browse around the web, you're likely seeing an ad that shows you an X5. And if you visited the Build Your Own page, it's likely that you'll see a color selector. Select through the colors. And you can do this across a lot of different product lines. It's not just auto. So think about the industry that you work in and how you can make your advertising more targeted to the browsing experience. You can actually take data from your website, plug it into the ad unit based on what a person did on your site. So the creative possibilities here are pretty interesting for those marketers who really wrap their heads around it and dive in. E-commerce, this is really caught on. Probably a lot of people in this room have seen product rotator ads. So you can get a little more sophisticated with these. You can just show the last viewed product in the ad unit. But take it to the next level, maybe show the people who have converted or visited your shopping cart and then left the site an ad unit, and allocate more budget to those users. So put more users towards shopping cart abandonment. In these ads, a person goes to the website, they browse around, visit some different products, and then this ad might serve to them across a number of different sites. Remember I said there's like over a trillion ad impressions available, so the reach is massive. We're talking about like most major sites on the internet are accessible here for this type of strategy. And show them ads that are targeted to the past products viewed, or the products that were in their shopping cart. They click shop and actually go to the shopping cart to make a purchase. So this is hitting your bottom of funnel customers, those that are closest to buying. And this is huge, just last year this started. So Facebook Exchange inventory. Facebook Exchange started accepting real-time bidding late last year. And what that means, and these ads might not look that great to you, these are just ads you see in the right-hand bar of Facebook, you can buy these through Facebook, but what's interesting about this is that they started accepting data on their platform. So you could bring your data from your website onto Facebook and do a remarketing buy. You could do a buy using third-party data, behavioral characteristics. You can use data from your ad buys, so ad intake settings. People that have been exposed to or clicked on certain ads in your campaign could then be shown certain Facebook ads that match. And there's a lot of matching that needs to go on here, so I'm going to talk a little bit later about how you take this data, and there's a lot of different types of data, and start to match it up with the creative. So you're buying the right types of ads to actually generate performance. But this is powerful stuff, and a big, big shift in how effective Facebook is for clients, especially in e-commerce campaigns. And the inventory is not really priced right yet because not that many people are into it. So like any market that's just starting, it hasn't really commoditized yet like search has. So you're able to win the inventory really inexpensively. You can do this on mobile. And mobile, the ad unit sizes are kind of funky. You're talking about really, really small ads. So for the creatives in the room, you have to really watch out for making sure that your message speaks loud and clear. I'd say the center ad is a good example of what you shouldn't do. You're trying to pack a social button, some text, an image, another logo into the ad unit, and in all likelihood, this ad unit isn't getting the greatest response. I think you really want to focus on headline, you really want to focus on the color of the ad, you want to focus on the image that you have in the ad. Zynga inventory just became available using real-time bidding. So this is hot if you happen to be an advertiser for a brand that has people you think are browsing on Zynga games. And you can target that using all the same data possibilities. You just get access to Skype data or Skype inventory in Japan. And what this means is that now when people are using the free version of Skype, you can use real-time bidding, bring your data, your first-party data, on Skype to execute ad buys. Pretty cool stuff. And probably a good reason for people to upgrade to the paid version of Skype, too, if they don't like an ad coming over their person's business. But they're definitely engaged at that point. So pre-roll advertising here is something that's shifting a lot of brand dollars into real-time bidding. And you can do the same thing here. You can bring your first-party data onto YouTube, and there are a number of other ad networks that are available to do this. So we're working across devices now. You can use real-time bidding across devices with varying levels of targeting capabilities. And an important thing with a campaign is to think across these devices. Look at your web analytics data. Start to think about, Google Analytics has a great dashboard where you can see how many of your people are browsing and doing certain things out of your top target customers. How many people are on mobile? How many people are on tablet? And start to think about where you're placing your ad buys. In real-time bidding, you can buy across all these devices. So you can allocate different amounts of spend to different devices if you think it would perform better on iPad. iPads have very high engagement rates for a lot of the campaigns we work on. So this is a really simplified model of how you can actually utilize this in media buy. So you might be an advertiser that, maybe you're an agency, you represent a travel company who work with a really cool one in La Jolla called Classic Journeys. So they want to do targeted buys to bring more customers to their travel website and book their tours. So the typical way we would do this historically would be buy on a travel website, and we would actually buy this whole group of customers. Well, the way that real-time bidding goes, let's suppose we're an e-commerce site, we're selling shoes. We want to only buy certain customers that are interested in heels. Traditionally, we'd have to do a whole buy on a fashion website. We might get like hipsters, men's shoes. We might get people that are interested in women's shoes, who are real target customers, and we really only want to buy these people. Real-time bidding allows us to assign certain values to the customers that actually matter. You can do that through the pages that they visited on your site, or the pages that they visited on a site that you're buying on, by targeting your buy. And then assign pricing to these customers. You might be willing to pay more for a customer who's done a certain action on a certain site, or engaged with the ad unit in a certain way. When you're setting up the campaigns, you want to think about this. You want to think about how your customers are valued differently and how much you're actually willing to pay for a different type of customer. And at the end of the day, what this allows you to do is, compared to the traditional model, you might pay $40 for this site buy on the left, whereas you pay $4 for the real-time bidding buy on the right. You get the same result. You're buying, these are the customers, the ones that are in yellow, that actually will buy the products. So this can be applied across all different verticals. You can do this if you're representing brands that are in music. You can be buying indie rock audiences, isolating ones that actually purchase albums. You can do this in fashion. You can do this across pretty much any service or product category that you work in. A lot of you that have gotten into display have probably bought a little bit on Google. So Google has a lot of the highest quality inventory. I mentioned before, like DoubleClick has probably the largest, they have the largest amount of inventory right now and showed the largest growth from 2009 to 2010 across all the different ad exchanges. And a lot of publishers are attracted to Google. However, once your campaigns get above a certain size, so if you're an advertiser and you're buying inventory, once you get over about like 2K a month, I'd say, you probably at that point run into some limitations. One of the biggest one is with reach. So if you're only buying on Google, on AdWords, and the display network, you're only buying Google inventory. And this really matters. You might say, well, who cares if the ad inventory on Google is pretty high quality? It matters if you're doing remarketing. So if a customer comes to your website and then they leave, we want to hit them within a window of time. And the window of time is really the most important thing here. If they have left your shopping cart, we might only have 48 hours where that ad is really effective and where your spend is deployed in the highest ROI manner. So we want to have the reach to be able to cover that customer as they browse around the web. The second one is probably more appropriate if you're doing larger buys. There are some attribution settings in regards to conversion tracking pixels that are more important in the more complex attribution models. And then Facebook Exchange, like I mentioned before, is a huge opportunity, really low prices, and really high performance because not that many advertisers are playing in the space. So how can you get into this? There are demand-side platforms where you can access the data inventory and buy. There are self-serve platforms. There are full-service platforms. What we do, we're a trading desk. We're like an agency that uses all these different platforms to execute buys. So that's where we fit in. Or you could build your own technology, which is expensive and difficult to do. So building a bidder is no easy feat, and getting it to integrate with all the exchanges and getting seats in those exchanges is a different story. So this is something where you want to work with a partner or a platform to execute these buys. And if you're on the sell side, you want to use a sell side platform to basically represent your inventory through real-time bidding. So this is how it ties into a real buy. This is like a real live buy. Let's suppose we have an e-commerce site. We're run, in this case, a site that sells high-end footwear. How do you actually use this technology in a campaign? So suppose we're interested in hitting people at the top of the funnel, just generating awareness. They don't even know the site exists. Traditionally, you might do site buys for this in display. In this case, you might want to do site buys combined with third-party data. So maybe you buy data from another source, or you use data from your site in the buy, and you actually get people that have demonstrated through previous buys that you've done, or data that you're buying, that they're at the top of the funnel. So there are tons of data sources that you can plug in. There are data marketplaces where you can purchase this data. It's a space that's becoming more and more sophisticated. At the research phase, a customer might be deciding, well, which category of products do I want to buy? This is where remarketing really comes into full swing. So actually showing customers, based on past browsing behavior, certain ads. And then at the bottom of the funnel, that's where like product rotators really kick. They will throw a campaign off the charts if you are doing them right, have good creative. So real world example, this is like one that we actually ran. This is top of the funnel stuff. So more awareness, more trying to catch your eye, make sure you're buying only like the yellow people that are in that circle. You go a little further down the funnel, so starting to give people discount codes, starting to give people creative that represents the category that they were in. So if they were in a heel category, you give them certain creative. If they were in a men's shoe category, you give them something a little bit different. And you can do this on Facebook Exchange too. So this person visited Steve Madden's section of the site, so they're served this ad. And bottom of the funnel, this is where you get into product rotators, big discounts. You can do time-based remarketing. So actually show people different ads depending on how long they were away from their shopping cart. So a lot of possibilities here, and if you tie the creative in really smart with this data, very, very powerful. So there's, to summarize, like an opportunity here with price. Not a lot of people playing in this space, or not as many people as there will be 3 years from now. So the prices on this inventory are fairly cheap right now. Targeting, you can bring your data, both your first-party data, and then buy other data into the buy. And then it's less emotional than typical media buying. Media buying is something where people usually, they put some emotion into the buying process, and here you're actually using machine learning to steer the buy. So, not sure how much time we have for questions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that's I think you guys, there was a lot of data, a lot of information. I'm sure you guys have some questions. So, does anybody have any questions for Colin? Or he answered everything? Everyone's professional.
What kind of range on the CPMs would you see that? Are you targeting banner versus video, pre-roll? What type of CPMs are you seeing?
Definitely. So the question was around pricing, and specifically CPMs around display and video inventory. It really depends on the quality of the inventory. And when I say quality, I mean like how much other advertisers are willing to buy it for if it's an auction. So you'll see CPMs that are below $1 all the way up to like above $3, depending on what the inventory is. And you'll notice like those prices are way below what you'll see in traditional rate cards. So you'll see there are still some publisher networks that are selling very high price inventories. You look at like Condé Nast and stuff like that. I mean, they're able to get premium prices. They have enough buyers to buy their properties. So it depends on how many people are willing to buy it. On video, you're talking about like, usually like 7 months now, depending. Yeah, using real quickly. Yeah. Facebook Exchange, like we're way up building that stuff below.
Hey, Colin, what kind of click-through rates do you see on ads like this? Maybe separate pre-roll and then also kind of just display ads.
Yeah, definitely. So we're not super tied to the click because you can game that a little bit, and that's an important point with data. You can collect like clickers into an audience and then just advertise the clickers. So a lot of DSPs that are selling you on click-through rates can, there's a lot of variance and they can also place your ads just on sites where there are a lot of clickers. There's a lot of click fraud out there on exchanges, so you want to make sure you're blocking. So we look more at what we see in conversions on conversion pixels. Like we'll set a conversion pixel, it's like a post-view conversion pixel. So someone sees an ad, we're interested in how many people that saw that ad came back to the target site. And that's a much more important stat to us than how many people click from that target site. Click-through rates, like specifically you're seeing usually on Facebook, you're like under 0.1. Let's display, like I'd say like 0.1 is the benchmark. Really targeted like product marketing, remarketing rotators, maybe 0.1 to like maybe 0.2, 0.3. So.
Any other questions?
What are the categories beyond shoes?
I did focus this only on e-commerce. The question was other
The question was what other categories beyond shoes?
Yeah, we run for brand marketers too. So you can do traditional site buying like to raise awareness about an auto. They obviously are doing a lot of brand advertising where it's not as trackable. So you can do site buys using real-time bidding and take a lot of the emotion out of the buying process. In your blocking chart, you might have typically maybe you have 100 sites that you're buying on. Here you can buy across 1,000 sites, but bring data to the picture and then let it optimize itself. So.
You said Google Ad Display Network has only 20% reach. Is that of U.S. publications or global publications? Where does that come from?
Global, like when we look at all the different real-time bidding ad exchanges worldwide, that's about what we see right now. And it depends on whether you're looking at mobile, video, and display.
Any other questions? All right. Well, with that, I want to thank Colin. That was fantastic. That was a lot of information in about 20 minutes. And as we do with all of our speakers, and we've been doing for a while at the Ad Club, is we'd like to give, we're going to plant a tree in your honor.
Nice.
We so far have about 3,200 trees in the Ad Club forest. Don't know where that is, but you're helping the forest grow. Right? It's a little ironic that we're giving it to him on a piece of paper. Thank you. We're going to do a quick turn here.